Hey, yo, what is up, everybody? This is Jumpin here, and today I'm going to be showing you one of the craziest gameplays I have ever done for Mass Effect 3. Video is going to be called Teamwork, because this is definitely an amazing teamwork gameplay I came up with. Alright, so I'm going to be using the Human Vanguard. For my charge, I'm going to be using Radius, Power Synergy, because this is a pure Nova build, and then Barrier. Okay. For the Nova, since it's pure power, it's force and damage, power recharge. You don't want half blast because of that. And then finally Pierce to do 100% more damage to armor, shields, and barriers. Really, really amazing. For Alliance training, I'm going to be using damage and capacity, power damage, and then finally weapons damage. You could go for weapons weight. It really does not matter. Alright, for fitness, it's just all shields. I don't melee, nothing like that. It's just meant to help me stay alive longer, because humans are very flimsy. We all know this. Now for the equipment, I will not be shooting at all. So I'm just going to be using Power Amp 4 with Commando Package 3, just for as much power damage as possible. No shooting, no ammo, no weapon bonus. Alright, so let's go ahead and get into the gameplay. Like I said, this gameplay is going to be amazing. It really is. I had an idea a while back, and I wanted to try this idea, and I did not know it wasn't going to necessarily work. But yeah, no, it worked, and it worked wonders. The idea is this. Now, this is going to be very difficult for you guys to do, unless you have friends or you had people willing to do this. But the way it works is that you use a Human Vanguard. More than likely, the Human Vanguard needs to be host so that you don't get in the Vanguard glitch. Followed by 3 Geth engineers. Very important. Spec'd out for defensive turrets. So they all have healing turrets. And the idea of it is that they're going to follow me around, overloading and shooting things with disruptor rounds for tech bursts. And they're going to be throwing out their turrets the whole time. And what that's going to do is that's going to give me infinite Novas at certain points. Not all the time. I'm still going to have to charge. And you still do want to charge when you do this. The reason why you're going to want to charge is for the power synergy. Occasionally you need to charge just to get the 25% more damage for your Nova. And it lasts, I think, for 10 seconds. I don't really know how long it lasts, but it lasts long enough. So if you can get the infinite Nova going, which that only really happens when you have the 3 turrets next to you and you're just Nova, Nova, Nova. It's really crazy. You will see it throughout this gameplay. And this whole gameplay is just going to hurt your eyes in a lot of ways. This might give you a seizure, so anyone who has any problems out there with that, you might not want to watch this video, because there's going to be a lot of tech bursts, and it's going to just shake the screen and just go crazy at times. Now, the build that my friends are going to be using in this gameplay are going to be my new build. It's my defensive Geth engineer build, or defensive Geth Harrier engineer build. It uses the Cerberus Harrier. I have 2 new Geth Harrier builds. I have an offensive Geth Harrier build, which I will be coming out a video with that, and I have a defensive one. Now, I will not be coming out with a video using the defensive one just because I don't want to respec it again, but I will go over how to build it in my next video for Mass Effect, which will be coming out pretty soon here. I know a lot of you guys have been like going crazy because of the Skyrim. No, I'm not going to be done with Mass Effect. That's not what's going on. It's just I'm taking a little break just so I can finish up my Skyrim thing. But in the meantime, I'm going to be uploading a couple games of Mass Effect here and there. And this is definitely one of the ones I wanted to do because this was just too awesome. Now, as of right now, I don't think that we've actually had the Infinite Nova going yet. But once it starts going, mainly against primes and things, is when you really will see it happen. But once it starts going, it will just not stop. The idea of this is that the turrets, they can only heal you every 6 seconds, I believe. Every 6 seconds. And with the recharge rate, which is the last evolution of the turret, it's every 3 seconds. So the idea is if there's 3 turrets, the way that the turret works is that if you don't have full shields, it's automatically programmed to heal you when you lose your shields. So the idea is that as I Nova, it's going to give me my shield back. Look right there. Right after I Nova, I already have my shield back. And then I can always just charge to get my shield back. So I'm like a tank. I just cannot die. I will help my teammates out. Unbelievable. I will be an unbelievable teammate for my teammates because I'm going to be setting off I'm going to be, for one, setting off their tech bursts from their overloads and their disruptor rounds, like, ability. Now, here we go. Here we go. Here's a little bit. I think this is when you're going to see the first Infinite Nova go. As you can tell, my shield just will not stop coming back. Every time we fight a prime, it's just going to be the same thing over and over again. It's so much fun to do this. It's unbelievable to watch someone have Infinite Nova and to also be a part of it and just watch all the tech bursts happen. Like I said, but the other big thing this character will do for your teammates is be a giant distraction. As I'm sitting here Novaing this prime is focused on me. And if you guys don't know this, during the Nova animation, you are invincible. That is a invincible frame. So you take no damage during that animation. And if you can just constantly do the animation with like an Infinite Nova, you are pretty much invincible. The only thing that can, it won't hurt you, but it can mess you up, is a melee from like a Geth Prime. That can stun you, or any melee can kind of stun you. But here we go, Infinite Nova time. But yeah, that's really one of the only things is melees can hurt you. Not hurt you, they won't hurt you, they will stun you, and if you get shot by something else, that can kill you. But besides that, yeah, no, you're very, very much a tank. You just cannot die. You're a distraction for your, to the enemies, for your teammates to not really, because everyone knows Geth are kind of flimsy. The good thing about the defensive Harrier build is that it does not use Hunter mode. That's the whole idea. Hunter mode was nerfed, so why not just avoid it and try out a build with the Harrier? Because you really don't need Hunter mode to make, the Harrier is such a good gun. Just don't need Hunter mode. And if you want to make a very tanky Geth engineer with a defensive turret for you and your teammates, that's a very effective build depending on your play style. Like, I will go all into that with my next video about the whole new Geth engineer builds with the offensive and defensive versions. The offensive version is very interesting, but it's just the way I prefer it, and I think that it's the best way to set it up. So I will go into that. But as you can tell, this is just amazing. Just the ability to do what we're doing. I mean, I just cannot die. If I'm not getting my own shields back, the turrets are doing it for me. The whole way you need to play with this is just pretty much you don't shoot, you just charge when you need to, and you just tap the RB button the whole time. Just constantly just keep tapping it, just in case. You'll never know when the turret's going to heal you, and sometimes the turrets will heal you in really random patterns, but for the majority of it, it will actually be very effective. Now, one thing about this gameplay, we decided not to use mini rockets. I've told you before, when I play Glacier, most of the time we like to not speed run it necessarily, but kind of speed run it, where we use rockets just occasionally. But for this gameplay, I did not want to use rockets for real, just because I wanted to show off just the unbelievable power of this and how much teamwork this really goes into this idea. The point of it is that they have to follow me around. I'm the main slayer. I'm the one really doing everything, but they're supporting me in the best way possible. They're keeping me alive. They're giving me one of the best powers in the game is Nova. There's no question about that. If I can have infinite Novas, that's amazing. It's just absolutely amazing. And then the other thing that I'm doing is I'm helping them by giving them tech bursts and also by distracting all the enemies in a room. And they just really, I mean, they will die occasionally every once in a while, but even if they die, it really won't matter, because either they're just going to get each other up or whatever, or I can just come over there and help them out and get all the enemies off of them once again. And the only way you're going to die if you're a Geth in this situation is if enemies flank you. That's mainly the only way. Like right here, someone died because this hunter snuck up, or these two hunters snuck up behind them and took them out. But it's still not like the biggest deal ever. And the other thing that really matters for this is communication, at least from the human vanguard. The Geth guys do not need to talk that much. They just need to listen. The main thing is the human vanguard guy needs to constantly call out where he's going to be going, because they're supposed to follow you around. You are the leader. Let's follow the leader. That's the whole idea. So like right here, I went to the middle room. I was like, all right guys, we're going to the middle room. I need some turrets. Throw some turrets out, and then if I'm like by a prime or by a big group of enemies, I'll say, hey, I need some turrets over here. And yeah, once they get their turrets going, it's over. I mean, it is literally over for the enemies. They stand no chance. If If you think a tech burst is very strong against a Geth, yeah, you should see it with the combination of 3 overloads with 2 Nova or 4 Novas. They stand no chance. There is no, honestly, like even though they are using the Harrier, there's really not much of a point to use any weapon at all. You could probably beat this whole thing, this whole gold run, not shooting whatsoever if you really wanted to. It would be very possible because the Vanguard does not need to shoot, and honestly, the Geth don't really need to shoot either. All they need to do is throw out the turret and just start overloading everything. And if they do that, yeah, you'll have a mass amount of tech bursts and everything, and all the enemies will die. It's just that simple. Now, right there, I started to run out the upload just to try to get some easy kills, but I was like, nah, we need to finish this. I need to stay with my teammates. And like uploads are like the greatest thing ever for a build like this, just because. Yeah, I mean, you can't die. You're in the middle. You know, all the turrets are going to be set up in the middle room, so really none of us can die easily because anyone who takes any damage will get their shield back from a turret, and that's the whole idea. And if a prime or a boss comes, we will pay attention to the boss just to kill it, because the only thing that can do enough damage to you for real are going to be bosses. Bosses like primes can do just a mass amount of damage to you, and you just don't want to see that happen. You don't want anyone to like die, so the best thing to do is just take them out right away and just kind of like hold down this whole area. Like I said, it's very amazing. It's when I got this gameplay, we were all very much shocked by how effective this really was, and how crazy it was. Like like I said, it can give you almost a headache because of just the sheer amount of shaking of the screen and electricity just going off everywhere because of all the tech bursts. Right here, I'm not with my team, but they really don't need my help. It's 3 of them versus 1 prime. I just wanted to hurry up and kill the last couple weak enemies on the bottom. The Human Vanguard is very amazing against Geth in general. He really is. Just because since they can't assassinate him, you don't take too much of a risk. The only downside is that without turrets, will this work or will you be as effective? No. Just because a Nova and then a Rocket will almost kill you, or a Prime will almost kill you, or a Hunter will almost kill you, a Pyro can kill you, everything can kill you, against Geth especially. The Human Vanguard Nova build is just very effective, mainly against Cerberus, I think, unless you're going to try to do something like this. Now, this would be effective against every faction. The only faction you have to worry about a little bit would be Reapers, just because the Banshees could grab you pretty easily. But for the most part, if you just had the turrets going, yeah, the Nova should pretty much be effective enough at a long enough range that you really won't have too much trouble. All right, now right here, I'm just kind of backing up. Like, you know, occasionally you just got to kind of know your surroundings if you're playing as the Vanguard to pretty much just, you know, just know where the turrets are. You got to kind of know where the turrets are. You got to kind of sense that and kind of step close enough to the turrets so they will heal you. And as the engineer, the main thing you have to pay attention to is to know where the Vanguard is. It's very easy to find a Vanguard in this game, guys. It kind of is. Just because if your job is to follow a Vanguard, if you were trying this with an ADAT team, because the Human Vanguard is just so amazing for doing ADAT teams and stuff. But you just got to get used to falling around the Vanguard, because the Vanguard can reward you. Like, he can definitely reward you. Even though the Human Vanguard will always go down as one of the most douchey and kill-stealy characters in the whole game, just because he flies around, he Novas everything practically dies, and then he dies a lot because he loses his shield in the process, and you have to constantly get him up. He was like the first really annoying character you have to deal with, and a lot of people used him like crazy because Nova is so overpowered and charge is so amazing and all that kind of good stuff. But if you use him in if you stick to the whole team-based ideas with him, yeah, he's not, you know, he's a team player. Like, he's really the best team player in the game, just because he's able to set off so many different explosions, tech bursts, any type of explosion you want. And Nova is just so strong. It's unbelievable how strong Nova is. And as you can tell, this just wrecks. Like, this just wrecks a whole room. Like, anything in the room, primes, doesn't really matter what it is. Anything in the room is just going to get totally wrecked. because I'm just gonna keep being able to Nova non-stop. And then when the turrets stop healing me, which they will eventually, after like 3 or 4 heals, they will stop healing you. But when the turrets stop healing you, then that's not even a big deal, because then you can just charge. You just charge and get your power synergy back. So in a course of 10 seconds, I can get 4 Novas off, and then charge again to get my power synergy. And by the time my charge is done and I do my first Nova, all the turrets are going to be reset and ready to go to heal me again 4 more times. It's insane, guys. This was definitely a crazy strategy I thought of. I don't know if anyone ever thought about doing this before. I mean, the Geth Engineer's been out for so long. The Human Vanguard's been out since the beginning. I don't know if anyone's ever done this before. It was just, you know, this is just an idea I just kind of had. I was just like, I forgot what it was. I believe we were playing with Geth Engineers with the defensive turrets and the Service Harrier, and we just couldn't die. I remember that. Like, none of us could die. And in that process of, like, you know what would be really crazy? Is if the Human Vanguard... No, I know what it was. I believe what I was doing was I was playing as a Human Vanguard, and there was a Geth Engineer on my team. And occasionally, after I would Nova, it would instantly heal me. And I was like, whoa, you know, that's kind of a good idea. Like, this would be kind of crazy if you had a whole team of Geth Engineers following around a Human Vanguard. Because the turret will just constantly heal you as you Nova. And Half Blast is cool, but who wants Half Blast when you can have a full Nova and just keep using full Nova non-stop? I mean, it is broken. As you can tell, I haven't used any equipment yet. This is wave 9. We have really none of us, besides, I think a couple of us, a couple of the Geth have used Metagels, and that's okay. The main thing for the Geth is to try to stay up as much as possible. Going down is just not, well, going down is okay, but you want to be up as much as possible so that the turret, because the enemies will destroy the turret. You want to make sure your turret's always alive. And you just want to make sure you're just constantly overloading everything as the Geth in this situation. And as the Vanguard, he just doesn't really need to use any equipment. Now you can. I'm not saying you don't have to. I mean, you can use op packs too. Like when worst case scenarios, you can actually use an op pack and Nova again. So you can just keep. There's so many crazy cheap tactics that's going on right here. It's unbelievable. Alright, so we have a prime right here, and like the great thing is anything that sneaks up behind me is screwed, because I'm just gonna Nova it and it's gonna get hit, and there's nothing behind me anyway. So, and we're just gonna move from every different position on the map, and as I move to the position, I'm just calling it out. My teammates are throwing out all the turrets, and once we get the setup going, it's over for the enemies. There's nothing they can do, and that's the craziest part about this. But yeah, it's just a lot of fun, guys. I really thought this would be a really cool video to put out there, especially since you guys have been, or some of you guys have been kind of freaking out about the Skyrim things. I don't know why every time I upload, I'm the type of person that when I upload something, I upload a lot of it. Like, I don't know, a 54-part Skyrim walkthrough, which I did, and I uploaded Yu-Gi-Oh videos for a very long time, and I've uploaded like 100 and something Mass Effect videos. I just kind of stick with one game uploading just so I can build like a giant fan base around that. Now the downside of what I'm doing now, actually my teammates are going to rock it this wave a little bit, but I'm going to try not to, just because I didn't want to use any equipment. I don't think I've ever finished a game with not using a single bit of equipment and going flawless or something, because I haven't died yet either, which is kind of crazy. But like I was saying, like, I'm the type of uploader that I just like to stick with one thing, and then eventually I'll switch it up to something different. Now, I will never stop doing one, especially until the day where I'm just totally done with Mass Effect, which the day will come. Like, it's gonna take another game and a newer game to do it. It ain't gonna be Skyrim, guys. So you guys don't need to worry that like I'm done with Mass Effect. That's what always happens, and I kind of hate it only because some people, they get like almost offended by it, and they like dislike my other videos because of that. Not saying that you guys have disliked my Skyrim videos, I don't think you have, but I've had it in the past where some of my fans, because of something else I was doing, they've disliked my videos because they just didn't like it. They didn't like the videos. They wanted to see me do what they were fans of. So, I mean, I don't know. Like that's my only beef. I'm just hoping that you guys aren't like that and you won't do that to me. But at the same time, I don't think you are. Like I think my Mass Effect fans are pretty loyal, which I really love. I do all these. I do everything for you guys. That's just think of it like that. Like I do everything for my subscribers. I try to, just put out as many videos as possible and give as best tips as possible and all that kind of good stuff. All right, so this is going to be the extraction wave. I'm still flawless at this point. I want to try to remain that way if possible, and I also want to try to remain not using any equipment. Now, I don't know if I was going to be able to do it, and the biggest downside is that we still are having too much fun just destroying the enemies. So we're just gonna kind of like charge. I'm not gonna play conservative. I'm still gonna play aggressive as hell, just because why not? As you can tell, there's just like all those enemies just got wrecked. We got a prime coming up over here, and I'm just gonna wreck this thing real quick. And the enemies are just gonna keep coming and keep coming because this is the extraction wave, and we're just gonna keep killing them and keep killing them and keep tech bursting them and keep novaing and keep. I mean, I just keep going and going, guys. It's insane. But yeah, that's pretty much what's going on here. That's the best and craziest part about this whole setup / gameplay is just what we're doing. It's unbelievable, and it was just amazing to do. So. Anyway, though, at this point, though, because it was 50 seconds, we probably should have considered going back to the LZ, because as you can tell, there's like this is just a real big cluster, and I was kind of thinking like, uh-oh, this might not be good, because if they're dying and their turrets are dying or whatever, then yeah, boom, I die. I'm like, oh, no, there goes the flawless. It's whatever. The flawless didn't matter. I just didn't want to have to use an equipment, so I was hoping that they would rock it and then just get me up. But after a while, it was just like, all right, we gotta go. We gotta go. This is just not gonna happen. So I just end up getting myself up and trying to make a mad dash for it. And I was like, oh my god, I don't know if I'm gonna make this. I don't know if I'm gonna make this. I don't know if I'm gonna make this. And I was like, I don't know if I made it. Like, that was really the thing. I really had no idea if I made it or not. It was too close to call. I probably should have done a front flip. If you do a front flip at the end, normally that will cancel out the fact that you're not in the circle. But in the end, guys, I don't want to spoil it for you. I did not make it. So I was left behind, unfortunately. But anyway, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please comment. Please like. Please subscribe. And like always, guys, have a nice day.